Coming up on Theater Talk, I love Gershwin. We all love Gershwin, but come on. Don't you think that the Broadway audience has now clicked over? This is the audience now for Smash and Glee and
You hadn't mentioned Smash in 2 seconds.
You know, our crew has set up a drinking game. They've decided that every time Michael mentions Smash, they're going to take a swig.
Here's the camera. Whoa.
Theater Talk is made possible in part by the CUNY TV Foundation. From New York City, this is Theater Talk. I'm the show's producer, Susan Haskins.
And I'm Michael Riedel, star of the new NBC TV series Smash.
Wait a minute, is NBC going to pay us to have you say that?
Absolutely not. Full disclosure, NBC is not giving us anything, but indeed, the biggest show on Broadway is actually not on Broadway now. It's a TV show. Everybody in the theater industry is talking about it. It's called Smash. It premieres on NBC in February, and yours truly is one of the performers. So, Susan, any questions for me about Smash?
How did you enjoy my TV show?
You can't pick up.
I was acting without speaking
All right,
in the great tradition of the artist.
Pick up. Since clearly Susan has been stunned into silence by my performance in Smash, I want to ask our panel tonight about the impact that what I think is a groundbreaking TV series is going to have on the cultural landscape of America. We are joined tonight by Jesse Green of New York Magazine, who wrote a 10 or 15-page spread on Smash in New York. Michael Musto from The Village Voice, who I know will be writing about Smash.
I'm so proud of the way you hectored your way into a recurring cameo. If only Julie Taymor had given you a cameo in Spider-Man, you would have raved. You would have raved.
I ran into Julie last night at the Smash premiere, which I'll tell you about in a second.
Name dropper.
And my old friend Patrick Pacheco, who I believe you're writing a several thousand-word piece for the LA Times about Smash. And you interviewed me for it.
It's all about you, Michael.
I know, it's true.
Of course.
You've got some little show premiering out in Staten Island, is it?
No, it's in New York.
Oh, wait. Patrick has co-written something or other called My Life with Men and Other Animals, I'll bet, at the Malloy College, March 8th and 9th, out in Long Island. And then it moves to the 45th Street Theater, March 15th through the 18th. And
You have to offer Michael a cameo role in it if you want it to go anywhere.
Absolutely. I better rewrite it.
Wait. Before we get to Smash, though, Patrick, I do want to ask you, what is My Life with Men and Other Animals about?
It's about a coming-of-age tale by Maria Cassia Florentine, performance artist, and her life as an actress and her relationships with men and other animals.
Wow. How's that sound to you, Mike?
But back to Smash.
I can't wait to get...
What was it like to work with Christian Borle?
All right,
It's about love, death, seduction, and
Smash?
All right, in all seriousness, let's talk about Smash because it is on everyone's lips these days.
You do know that Smash is not, in fact, a play, right?
It's an NBC TV series, so I'm told. Jesse, does the success of Smash tell us that Broadway...
It hasn't even started yet.
Does it tell us that Broadway has now launched itself into the mainstream of popular culture after all these years of being in the backwater of the entertainment industry?
If it succeeds, it might say that. We don't know whether it will succeed, but the reason Smash happened is because of the failure of Broadway to be able to nurture its own talent, or at least that's how I see it.
Expand on that, please.
Well, it's very hard for people at the level of brilliance of some of the writers and creators of this show to get work done at a level that matches their abilities. So where do they go? Surprisingly, to television.
Yeah.
The last place you would ever think, and yet here they have this niche in which to really try to practice the musical writing craft at the highest level.
On an NBC TV series. Michael, has Glee paved the way for...
I was going to say that Smash is not the first show. Glee certainly dabbles in show tunes, and so it did expose Broadway material to a mass audience. And for years before that, talk shows have exposed Broadway shows to a mass audience, starting with Ed Sullivan, Rosie O'Donnell, Theater Talk, which is now on at 4:30 in the morning. But that's when theater people watch TV.
They're patterning Smash after West Wing. The question for me is Smash edgy enough? Are the stakes high enough to justify that comparison?
Wait till episode 9 when I appear, and then, my God, the heat
For one
is-
page, Michael?
the heat is
For
turned-
2
The
seconds?
heat is turned up. All right, gentlemen, I can't have the whole show taken up by Smash as much as I would like to. Let us talk about the offerings coming up in Broadway in the spring. And Susan, would you like to join the conversation now? You've been silent this whole time.
I'm back in.
And by the way, we should say that Susan was supposed to be on Smash, but unfortunately her scene was cut. So
No, they never shot it because they got mad at you, and then they cut us both, and then you
But I-
got yourself back in. So
but
that's entertainment, everybody.
what did I say, by the way, when your scene was cut? I said.
You said that was inevitable.
There you are. So, all right, let's talk about the new shows coming up this spring. We have, interestingly enough to me, sort of a reunion, Jesse, of Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice after all these years with their two biggest
This is
shows.
like a reunion of Godzilla and Frankenstein. I'm not sure it's a reunion we want to attend.
Jesus Christ Superstar and Evita, two groundbreaking, terrific musicals, both giving new souped-up revivals. Are you looking forward to either one, or is just the same old tired revival syndrome on Broadway?
You know, I'm looking forward to the performers in Evita. I think it's an interesting cast. Ricky Martin, I'm curious to see what he's going to do.
H.A.
Michael Service, a terrific Broadway actor, and the newcomer Elena Rogers.
Don't cry for me, Argentina. The truth is I never left you.
I'm willing to give that show another chance. Jesus Christ Superstar, not so much.
Now,
I
Michael-
love Superstar. And this season we had Godspell, which had Jesus as a kind of bleach blonde surfer dude. So now Superstar is back, because there are two Bible musicals every year apparently, to reclaim the role of Jesus as a long-haired rock and roller.
Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice, they did revolutionize the musical with these two shows in some ways, but they haven't worked together in years. I mean, what went on between the two of them? I mean, what do we know from the historical record about why that partnership broke up?
Well, I think all partnerships have a limited shelf life, and I think that was simply, yes. I happened to see Jesus Christ Superstar in La Jolla, and I liked it a lot.
You did, really?
Yeah, I didn't think I would, because I'm not crazy about the show, but Des McAnuff did a great job, who directed it, did a terrific job, and Jesus is a brunette surfer dude.
It's kind of a biblical Jersey Boys.
But we're talking here about shows that may succeed on the basis of covering up their fundamental problems.
So what's the fundamental problem about Evita?
Well, let's begin. Do we have an hour?
Cut to the chase.
The character of Eva Perón. I mean,
Because it glorifies fascism. That was the complaint against the show originally.
I think the original production was masterful, but exactly in the way we're talking about, covering up fundamental problems of structure and character and politics, for heaven's sake.
But shows always do that. I mean, Hair had
Yes.
fundamental problems.
But can we
and-
talk
and
about
was
some
a
that
hit.
at least we don't yet know are fundamentally flawed because
On
we
a
haven't
clear
seen
day you
them
can
yet?
see forever? How about that?
Well, no, there's a lot of new things coming in.
Yeah, that's gone.
Besides Smash.
All right, besides Smash, which is marvelous, there's another show that I think also could be groundbreaking. Nice Work If You Can Get It. An old Gershwin catalog.
Gershwin's nice work if you can get it.
I mean, Michael, I love Gershwin. We all love Gershwin, but come on. Don't you think that the Broadway audience has now clicked over? This is the audience now for Smash and Glee and
You hadn't mentioned Smash in 2 seconds.
You know, our crew has set up a drinking game. They've decided that every time Michael mentions Smash, they're going to take a swig.
Here's
So
the
they're
camera.
gonna
Whoa.
serious moment there, Michael. I mean, don't you think that these tired old Gershwin catalog shows, that there's no audience for these things anymore?
Well, wasn't Crazy for you recently? Oh, that was 25 years ago? Well, I don't know. At least they're not just doing a review, which is the laziest, format of all, and they're not doing a jukebox show. They're actually creating some kind of plot. The names here have pretty good pedigree. I don't think this will be embarrassing, but I'm not Sylvia Brown.
You're Kathleen
The
Marshall.
famous psychic from the Maury Povich show.
I think you've asked the wrong person whether it has current relevance or not.
Retro theater talk.
There's always been an audience for that, though. I mean, look at the Grosses for Anything Goes, which has been a hit and which has been extended through September. And it's the same director and choreographer,
Kathleen
Marshall.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't underestimate it at all. I think it has a good chance of succeeding.
Jesse, your sense about this old Gershwin catalog show?
I'd rather see them doing something else, honestly. And the Gershwin estate is not high on my list right now.
Why?
Well, because of calling
Bess?
Porgy and Bess the Gershwins,
Yeah.
Porgy and Bess, eliminating the contributions, the crucial and beautiful contributions of some of the authors in doing that, and in seeming, people disagree with this, but in seeming to be more about trying to extend the life of the copyrights and bring in more cash than about protecting the work.
Yeah, well, the problem is that there are all of these great-grandchildren who live on these works that were created by their genius.
Well, either I want to be one of them, or I want them to stop it.
Point well taken. But you're absolutely right. You can just see they're trying to milk these things for all that they will do anything. They will debase these great songs in this catalog just so that they can keep buying their country houses. Are you appalled by this, Michael?
And why
Wait,
not?
people in theater want to make money? Oh, this is appalling. This has to stop.
All right. Speaking of living on the royalties of your dead father, Death of a Salesman. The great Arthur Miller play is coming back, Patrick, with Philip Seymour Hoffman in the part. My initial reaction to that is Philip Seymour Hoffman strikes me as being too young to play Willy Loman.
Yeah, he could well be. I'm not quite sure how old Dustin Hoffman was when he played him. Probably about the same age.
Yeah.
There's also Andrew Garfield.
And Linda Eamon, who's just a fantastic actor.
Well, it's being directed by Mike Nichols after a very rare misstep of the country wife,
The Country
Country
Girl.
Girl,
the
which
country
was a disaster
girl,
on
which was a
Broadway.
disaster. A rare misstep for Mike Nichols. I would be very surprised if this was not a success, and he's the one that said that casting is 90% of a director's job. And when asked what the other 10% is, he said, correcting your casting mistakes. So I don't think he'll have to correct this casting mistake.
Michael Philip Seymour Hoffman as Willy Loman. Do you see it? Do you sense it?
Sure. I mean, he is a great actor, but the high watermark of my theater-going experience was the Brian Dennehy,
Brilliant.
Elizabeth Franz, directed by Robert Falls production.
Yeah, absolutely terrific.
This one has, as I've mentioned before, a teen idol, Andrew Garfield, so there'll be screaming girls in the audience. I can't cry, Willie. Woo! Woo! Yeah, it's going to be so bizarre.
Jesse, Death of a Salesman. I mean, is it a play that we could see every year? Is it that
Pretty much. It's that good.
It is that good.
And one of the things that Nichols is doing that I find fascinating, and you will laugh at mercilessly, is he is using the original set design, slightly modified by Joe
Malziner.
Malziner, which were brilliant and changed the course of Broadway design, and it'll be fascinating to see them in use again.
And for those of us who didn't see the original production, as you apparently did, the Joe Malziner sets, what was groundbreaking about those sets was that this was a realistic play taking place in a man's mind, and the sets reflected that.
You could say that, but it's really much more specific and technical. He mastered the use of scrims in order to change the scenes by simply changing the lighting. The scrim could disappear or appear, and you could see other rooms, other places, and it made it really introduced the whole cinematic quality of staging that had not previously been part of the stage experience.
That's pretty impressive, I must say.
So Evita, Death of a Salesman, and Superstar, really innovative stuff this year.
No, we have a lot. We actually.
Oh, and the Gershwin musical.
There are actually a large number of new works this year, especially new plays.
Yes.
Well, like Shatner's World, we just live in it. William Shatner is coming to Broadway with his one-man show. Patrick, I mean, is this something that could revolutionize not only set design, but playwriting?
Wig design, possibly.
It may well be. I have no idea what he's going to do. I'm not quite sure that television stars necessarily turn into box office, but I think in this case it probably may well be. He's quite an eccentric character.
Well, Michael, you have anything to say about William Shatner?
Just when they get rid of the special events category, the good ones come in. I mean, no, I loved him in The Twilight Zone with the gremlin on the wing.
Oh, brilliant.
And Star Trek I never heard of. I don't know.
You know what? I'm looking forward to Clybourne Park that won the Pulitzer Prize. That's coming back.
Yes.
Did you see
Who
that in the
cares?
first place?
I never
No, you will care. It's a fantastic play.
Yeah.
What's it
and
about?
I think it will be well. The first act sort of takes place right after the action of the original Raisin in the Sun. That family that leaves the ghetto tries to move into a white neighborhood. And
Sounds like the Jeffersons.
so we see the attempt
The remarks of Michael Riedel have no reflection on the producers of Theater Talk.
That's right. All right, Jesse, continue.
we see them trying to move to buy the house in this white neighborhood. Then we jump many years, and the neighborhood, which became mostly black once they moved in because of blockbusting and all that, is now yuppifying, and now the heirs of that black family are selling it to young white people. And
this sounds like a riveting play to you, Michael?
I don't see anything off Broadway because if it's any good, it comes to Broadway, except for Ruined. I missed Ruined, which won every award. It didn't come to Broadway. But I used to hang out with the playwright's brother at the Roxy, so I have connections here. I can get comps. And I've heard marvelous things about it.
There's another play coming in from London that everyone who sees it is raving about it and still laughing about it, One Man, Two Govs, which is an adaptation of the Goldoni classic, The Servant of Two Masters. Patrick, I hear it's absolutely hilarious coming from the National Theatre. What are you picking up on this play?
I saw the National Theatre's televised live.
Yeah, they did
live,
a movie.
live thing,
live broadcast.
and it's extremely funny. It's probably much funnier in person than it is, when you're watching it in a movie house. The only thing that I thought is that it's a bit long, and it does wear out its welcome. I mean, farce usually lasts 90 minutes. I think this ran well over 2 hours, maybe even 2.5 hours.
maybe they should just have one governor.
That might be. It does feature an extraordinary performance by Tom. Help me out here.
James Corden.
James Corden.
James Corden.
Who was the fat kid in
History Boys.
History Boys, Alan
That's
Bennett's
right.
play.
Yeah, an extraordinary performance.
Michael, is this going to be geared to the Downton Abbey crowd? Is this one of these?
No, I think this is very lowbrow humor, but because it's British, it seems higher brow. And James
Corden.
will sweep many awards.
He's the shoo-in, I think, for the Tony for Best
And
Actor.
it's in the same tradition of the season of Don't Dress for Dinner, right?
Another
sequel to Boing
masterpiece.
Boing. I mean, it is farce.
Well, certainly the success of Boing Boing is behind the enthusiasm for bringing this show.
And Don't Dress for Dinner.
Don't Dress for Dinner.
And Don't Dress for Dinner is a sequel
To Boing Boing.
Boing Boing.
I mean, I don't understand why they bring in the lowest common denominator of what you'd watch on television.
Haven't you just answered your question?
Because it makes money. Boing Boing was a hit.
I know.
All right. Well,
I think lowest common denominator is now the new brand phrase for Broadway.
No. The new brand phrase for Broadway, gentlemen, is smash.
Columnist.
There is a very interesting play coming called The Columnist, written by the guy who wrote Proof, whose name
That's right,
is
David Auburn.
David Auburn. And this play is about an old, very powerful political columnist back from the 30s and the 40s and 50s, Joseph Alsop. What's this play telling us about
It's absolutely a fascinating study of the Cold War period. And he was a conservative Cold Warrior, powerful Washington player.
Yeah.
Who in
Close to Roosevelt and presidents.
all the presidents, had the president's ear.
Kennedy, friend of Kennedy's.
Friend of the Kennedys. Goes to Moscow in 1957. Has a sexual liaison with a young Russian male who's a setup, the precursor of the KGB, takes all these pictures of them in this hotel room, presents them with him and says, now you're one of us. And he immediately takes those pictures, asks for a copy of them, they're not going to give him the originals, and marches right over to the American embassy in Moscow and shows them the pictures. And it sort of goes from there. It's absolutely a fascinating play that I believe involves Alsop. I don't know if it involves his brother. His brother was also a famous columnist, Stuart Alsop. Stuart Alsop. His wife, the young man, and
this is the third, literally, time in a row John Lithgow has played a columnist. Sweet Smell of Success, Mr. and Mrs. Fitch.
No, that's true. That's very
that's
good.
true.
And she's starring in this. I mean, does this intrigue you, Jesse? This play?
Very much, but I don't know how you know so much about it.
Wikipedia.
I don't
have
think
to
the
read
play.
Joseph Alsop's memoirs. Frankly.
No, I mean the play itself has not been produced elsewhere. It's open and cold here, which is a new thing. Yeah.
Manhattan Theatre Club.
But I mean, this intrigues me. Doesn't it intrigue you, Michael?
Anything with a columnist, obviously, is holding up a mirror to my soul. And also the blackmail angle kind of reflects on Best Man, which is being revived, which is about whether a candidate should be smeared or not with inside information. So
what is fascinating about Gore Vidal's The Best Man is that the politician you want to win, you should want to win, is modeled on Adlai Stevenson, who was every intellectual's dream candidate, but he could never win. And the politician who does win is modeled on Richard Nixon. And what Vidal says in this play, that if you're not willing to do what it takes to seize power, you don't deserve the power.
Fire in the belly.
Yeah, that's right.
Fire in the belly.
That's right.
It's also known as Gore Vidal's The Best Man.
That's his
What about
doing.
DeVos Haywood? He helped.
It's going to be called The Gershwin's the Best
But I
Man
gotta say,
soon enough.
but this is fascinating though, because these two plays, The Columnist and The Best Man, draw
About
on
the same time.
Yeah, the same time, politics,
Well,
power.
I think we're really interested right now in first of all in elections and politics, obviously, but in what that time in which people really fought dirty has to say about what's going on
Oh,
now.
unlike now, right?
Well, no, I mean too much like now. After a period of sort of pretending that wasn't all going on.
Yeah, and who's in The Best Man?
James Earl Jones plays the African-American ex-president. Angela Lansbury plays the Ann Southern role. Eric McCormick, who used to star in Will and Grace with Deborah Messing, who's now in
Smash! No, Michael Riedel. Smash. So, I mean, it's an all-star cast, and I actually think this play still has relevancy. All right, we only have a couple of minutes left, so let us hit a couple of things that sound like real clunkers to me. Ghost, Patrick, I mean, you go back and forth to London all the time. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it. A friend of mine recently saw it
said-
and was surprised by how much he liked it.
Yeah.
I think a better trend is actually the adaptation of kind of mediocre movies. But that always made more sense to me. Why do a good movie as a
I
musical?
agree, yeah.
That never works. But we have Newsies based
Yes.
on a so-so movie, Leap of Faith based on a and Once based on a weird,
Can I just say something
obscure
about
movie.
Once at least? It was
They have a bar on stage.
which I recommend to anybody who's producing a new musical,
Have a bar on stage.
particularly on critics' nights. You know, I didn't particularly love the movie itself. I thought the production, which was done downtown earlier this season at New York Theater Workshop, which also developed another musical that's opening this season, was one of the best productions of a show I've ever seen.
Listen, I think Once divides the audience. You either fall for that weepy, sentimental little love
I
story,
didn't say
or
I
it
liked
makes your
it.
flesh crawl, and my flesh was crawling out the door from that first
Well,
dirge-like, sad
well-
Irish "It's raining, we're all drunk" song, one after another.
But they have a bar on stage.
Now before
Every song sounds like "And I'm so low."
But it's beautiful.
Bring me Finian's Rainbow any day, please.
I think in terms of Once, what it certainly has going for it is a superb production. And it also has that date night quality. You know, all right, it's weepy, sentimental. Gee, that's Phantom of the Opera, weepy, sentimental.
How about the Phantom of the Opera? It's got, that big song, "No More Talk of Darkness."
And this has-
sing me one song from Once.
Falling.
It's raining outside here
the
in
Oscar-
Dublin. It's so cold and lonely and dark.
The Oscar-winning song.
And the girl was so precious. I mean, like Sandy Dennis would have played this in the
but
old days.
all that was
I
missing-
want you
all-
say hello to the piano every time you pass.
All that was missing was
I'm hugging you now.
It
all
has,
that was missing. She should have had a
But I
limp,
liked it.
a little limp there walking to the piano.
Okay.
it has the Oscar-winning song, and it has a great performance by Steve.
What's the Oscar-winning song? Can you sing it?
It's sure. I
Go
don't
ahead.
want me to.
All right, I can do Phantom of the Opera. I can do the entire score. Can
Well,
you-
that's because
can
it's
you
been
do the
running
Oscar-winning
for
song from
23
Once?
years.
Can you do the Oscar-winning song from Once? No.
You don't
How's it
want
go?
me to.
How's it go?
Oh, we do, we do.
We do. How's it go?
close us out, Patrick.
Ollie.
It's a flop.
Ollie.
I retract my praise.
You said the greatest thing you've ever seen?
No, I didn't. I thought the production was
help.
really beautiful. I do not care for the material, but I thought it was
And
incredibly
you had how
well.
many drinks before it started?
I don't drink.
Okay, I just want to say I'm looking forward to End of the Rainbow. Now we have to stop. Okay.
She
You
says
must
one,
be a 60-year-old gay man.
She says one thing and no one has any idea what she's talking about. End of the Rainbow is a play coming from London about Judy Garland. Thank you, Susan, for explaining to the audience what the play's about. Jesse Green from New York Magazine, Michael Musto from The Village Voice, Patrick Pacheco, who can't even sing the Oscar-winning song from his favorite musical. Patrick has his own show called...
My life.
What's it called? My Life?
My Life with Men and Other Animals. Do you want me to sing from that?
Please, spare us.
And Michael Musto has a book.
Fork on the left, knife in the back.
Thank you.
And Jesse Green, do you have
I have a
anything?
dentist appointment.
There you go. All right, Patrick, will you take us out with Falling from Once?
Folly. Wait, just
Bess, you is my woman. I just cost you $40,000.
Midnight.
please let Steve.
Don't cry for me, Argentina. Come on, Patrick. These are
that
hit songs.
I know that you've got B-roll, so I'm praying that you end this program with B-roll from
Once.
Once.
Bash.
Will you share with me one love, one
thanks to the Friends of Theater Talk for their significant contribution to this production.
Theater Talk is made possible in part by the Frederick Lowe Foundation, the Eleanor Naylor Dana Charitable Trust, the Alan S. Gordon Foundation, the Corey and Bob Donnelly Charitable Fund, Carrie J. Fries, the Dorothy Strelson Foundation, the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, and the New York State Council on the Arts, a state agency.
We welcome your questions or comments for Theater Talk. Thank you and good night.